Okay, I'm walking out of provisions. That was a very big one we were in at the last part of the last episode of part one. And I'm still going to head northbound on Section Street. You can see they have tables all out along this place as well. And you can also see people standing around. Now, some of these are waiting for tables. Now, this is the Ravenite, and I used to play in a band here back in the 2000s, mid 2000s. And this is a real good pizza place. You can see that the people even waiting in the doorway. And I just wanted to do a little quick walkthrough so you can kind of sort of see what this looks like on the inside. It's really nice. They got good beverages here, and they certainly have good pizza. So that's the waitress wanting to know if I was looking for a table. I kind of figured she thought I was going to try to just sit down somewhere. But anyway, I went ahead and got out of here, got out of everybody's way. And I guess if they'd had room, I probably would have stayed for a slice. I'm still heading northbound, going around these bushes. And we're almost to the municipal complex down here. That's on the left-hand side, further down. And so I believe this is Tamara's here. And these people are sitting outside. You got others are probably waiting on a table. And I wasn't able to really see their menu, but I know they have good food there as well. So you're not going to be hurting to find any kind of spot down here to eat. I mean, if one place is too busy and has a wait, you'll certainly be able to find another place that probably doesn't have a wait. Like I say, these restaurants, most of them are open at nighttime, but you are going to find some that are only open for breakfast or lunch or both, and are closed for the dinner time. And also, too, like I said in the first episode, there's restaurants on the other streets as well, so just don't walk down section and forget about the others. So this is the Cactus Cantina, and so you can see the specials they have there. It's got section place. That's where they have a lot of their, it looks like shared dining between the two. And so there may be some other common patio areas in some of these other restaurants as well. And I think we're coming up on this one here. This also hiring too as well. Now this road here to the right, I believe that this goes down to the Irish pub on the left. It could be the one past further south of this. I kind of got disoriented where I'm at, but also know that there is an Irish pub. There's also the Windmill Market, I think they call that as well, down there too. So that's another place that's really good for breakfast. I've been there for that. And so I'm going to go ahead and cross the road to the crosswalk, and that's the municipal complex there. And I also believe that used to be the library, and I think it could still house a civic center there. And usually they'd have their Mardi Gras balls and stuff there, but I think they may have that another place at this point, maybe the Nick Center. And so right there is the police department. And so I'm facing south on Section Street. Okay, this is Magnolia Avenue there again. So if you were coming south on Section Street or 98, you would turn here and get to the pier and also connect up to Scenic 98, which goes to Point Clear at Grand Hotel. Now, if you miss this turn, you can go on up to Fairhope Avenue, the next street up, and turn right there. It'll take you there as well. These two connect up. And they have parallel parking on this side of the street. And so there are also some other clothing stores along this part as well. Now, there I also noticed some little hole-in-the-wall little wine bars, too, where you could just sit down and just have a simple glass of wine. And maybe a cocktail as well. I didn't go in there to see what their drink list was, but there is some of that along this part of the road here. We're on the west side of Section Street. I think that's one of them right there. Yeah, time on Section. That's pretty cute. It's got a big old chair there too. You can actually sit in. I guess it's for seating. I got a little bit curious about this. I wanted to see inside there just to see if they had food as well. Like I said, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time, forensically going over these stores. I just pretty much want to give you a general overview of what's in downtown Fairhope. Okay, we're coming up on Fairhope Avenue, and so we're southbound on Section. I'm going to take a right here and head west on Fairhope Avenue. You can see there's the Fairhope Pharmacy across the road, and the Cat's Meow. That's another clothing store. You can kind of sort of see what they have as far as displays there. It's still in the Christmas season, and of course they're closed. I'm assuming that they're going to have like normal daytime hours at this one. And they didn't leave the lights on too far deep in the store. Pretty much all they have is here at the front. But it's a pretty big store, being a corner store, so that might be something you want to spend a little bit of time going into. Now this is Stowe's Jewelers. Now they've been around for a very long time, a real long time. In fact, they were even in some of my school yearbooks advertising in there in the 60s and 70s, and they may even go further back than that. So just know that they've been around a while, so that's probably a reputable place that you could go to find jewelry and also maybe get it appraised or have it worked on. That's usually what I try to do, is try to find a business that's been in business for quite some time. Now, like I say, some of these businesses that you see here, were older businesses at one time and have, sold out or closed, and new ones have taken its place. And there's also some other stores that go along this same pathway. There's not too many restaurants on this side here, on the right side of Fairhope Avenue as you're heading west, but there's a lot of clothing and boutique stores down this side of the street. There is a bar further up. Now, this is Tiny Town. I kind of thought this thing went out of business, but apparently it didn't. They used to have a place up there at the Eastern Shore Center, but I don't keep up with this kind of stuff, so they may have all locations all over the place. And I was kind of surprised to see Fantasy Island Toys. I believe that's an old chain as well. And I guess if you were really looking for a unique toy to buy someone, this might be the place to come get it. That Fantasy Island Toys just sounds like an old name to me, but I don't keep up with a lot of this, especially toys and jewelry and women's clothing. I just don't keep up with that kind of thing. You can see they got some big plush animals there at the front of this as well. I guess if you got a big house, you might have room to put those in there. I certainly wouldn't have the room to do it. Now, we're moving on up. This is another jewelry store. This is Benny's Jewelry. Now, I think Benny's has been around a pretty good while, too. I don't know if they have been around as long as Stowe's, but I know they've been around long enough to me to remember them from way back. And this is another jewelry store here. I think this is called Pandora's. So you got really like three of them right there together, so you could just skip from one to the next going down here if there's any particular type of jewelry you're looking for. Got the beautiful displays as well. Now, I got to thinking, this is the Eastern Shore Chamber of Commerce here, but I saw this little, I guess, booth. It kind of looks like one, but it's really just an octagon display where they have pamphlets here. And so you can look at this thing, and you can also pause this video too if you want to read these. And so if you come down and visit Fairhope, this is probably a stop you'll want to make to see what else has been posted here, because it looks like they're going to be advertising events on this thing, and they also have a map there so it can kind of tell you where you are in the spectrum of Fairhope. So it might be a good thing to swing by this thing and stop and take a look at it. And also, if you want to skip past this, you can, because I know nobody wants to watch a long video. So if you want to just skip ahead of this, what we're looking at here, just click your mouse and do that. I guess if you've got a phone, you can do it with your finger. But some people probably do want to see what's on these, and that's why I took the time to focus in on these. So it goes all the way around, even on the back side of this as well. You can actually walk around to this and see them as well. like I say, it's probably not going to come out too well because of the glare of this glass and the camera wanting to reflect off of that, so you might not be able to read this. Now, another tip I'll give you too, especially if you use a laptop, if you take a screenshot of that, you can actually take your mouse and scroll in, and it'll zoom into those. Another bank downtown. I'm not sure how long that one's been there. If I had to guess, I would say there's probably at least 5 banks in downtown Fairhope, and it could be more. Now, this is another place here. This is a little alleyway, and I was kind of surprised that there was no one in this thing sitting down, because this is a really cool place to be. And there again, this could be a shared alleyway between 2 businesses, but it's looks like it's got plenty of seating. So, you know, if the weather was nice and you wanted just to be outside, you could come right out here and find you a table and get out of the way of everybody else at the front sidewalk. Now, they had margaritas, I think, in this one here, but they could have some other cocktails as well. And like you say, you can see these people out here sitting at the front sidewalk too. I'm not sure if these people are actually waiting for a table or just out hanging out. I was digging that old truck right there, so pardon my weakness for that. So I think I'm going to do a little tour around that here in a second. So that's what I would like to get myself, is an old truck. I actually could use one. While I spend $50,000 on these new trucks, and they're probably not going to last near as long as one of these. The only bad thing about these is they just don't get the gas mileage, but I used to have a Chevy Avalanche, and that thing didn't get good gas mileage either, so I guess 0 minus 0 equals 0. And at least this thing will hold its value, so I think if I was going to get a truck, this is probably what I would do, but who knows how much these cost, and there again, you'd have to know how to work on them too, and I can do a little bit of that, but I'm no mechanic, that's for sure. So we're still walking westbound on Fairhope Avenue. Now, this is the Bone and Barrel, and a guy that plays in my band, he's played here quite a bit, and I could have played here with them way back, but I don't think it was called the Bone and Barrel then. But I'm pretty sure they have live entertainment here some nights of the week. And you can see the happy hour there from 3 to 7. And Danny and Dennis, that's probably a duo that's going to be playing there. So, yeah, they probably are booking acts in this. So, I guess if you wanted to come here and listen to some live entertainment, that would be a place to put on your radar screen. And also got some paper stands here as well. Now, we're coming up on the old Fairhope Hardware, and I really remember this place well because it was the coolest hardware store I've ever been in. I mean, it had a lot of stuff, a lot of unique stuff, but it was all unique, useful stuff that you'd want to have, especially for a guy. I mean, it had all the hunting stuff, fishing stuff in there, ammunition. I think they may have even sold fireworks in here at one time. But it had pretty much, I was admiring that planking up there. That's heart pine up there at that roof level. And that's some real resilient stuff. I tell you, as a home inspector, I've been astonished about how resilient that heart pine is. I've got a thing on this channel called Abandoned Houses of Alabama. And it's real fascinating to go look at some of those, because some of these houses have been abandoned for 50 years with no maintenance whatsoever. And they're still holding up fine because of that heart pine. It's resilient to pests, resilient to termites, and resilient to mold and fungus. It's just it's a real resilient material. It's not bulletproof from it, because I have found some areas where pests did get into it, but it's normally pretty resilient. Now, this is the art wall here. This mural has changed, I believe, several times, but you can see how long it goes. But Fairhope's a real artsy town. And this is the side of the Fairhope Hardware. And by the way, that building's for sale. And so that would make one heck of a restaurant if someone's got the capital to go in there and do something with this. Now, these things here, I thought they were concession trailers, but they're portable bathrooms that can be towed around town. And those are pretty handy, I guess, especially if you had like a parade and arts and craft festivals that go on down here. So, it looks like the city's actually looking out for that. Now, this is a real nice establishment coming up here, and I think I may have played here too way back. I'm not sure if it was the same name. I was admiring this Santa sleigh coming out of the tree into the establishment. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it looks like it's coming straight out of the sky, and it looks like it's coming out of a big old large live oak, and that's one thing that the nighttime certainly doesn't capture too much of, is the beautiful live oak trees and the magnolias that are all through downtown. And some of these magnolia trees are really old. When I was doing a story and a series of stories on the organic school where I went, there's some trees that's been there probably 100 years. Now, that's the Little Whiskey, they call this here. And so it's got a big patio for outdoor dining, and also to come out there and you can be around that big old live oak tree. Now, I figured I'd go ahead and cross the street here because what caught my attention was the radio station across the road. That's WABF radio. It's been around a very long time as well. And Lori Dubose, I ran into her the same night I did this. She's the DJ there. And they also have the swap shop that comes on between 9 and 10 o'clock in the morning. And so if you have something for sale, or if you're just looking for something, you tune into that between 9 and 10 o'clock. But also they have some really good music that they play on this. I call it the Boomer Era music. And so 1480 is where it's at on the dial. And so when I get within range of this station, I tune into the thing even outside of the swap shop. But like I say, you can also advertise your yard sales on this as well. A lot of people do that on Friday and Saturdays. So if you're moving here from out of state, just know that a lot of yard sales go on Friday and Saturday here. And the reason why I point that out is because I noticed when I was up north, there were more on Sunday for whatever reason. So just know if you're going to have a yard sale or want to find them, you want to tune into this station between 9 and 10 on Friday and Saturdays to find out where they're going to be. And so I'm heading back toward Fairhope Avenue now. And so it's a little bit of an uphill climb at this point, but not much. Like I say, it's not enough to wear you out. And I believe this here is a Deja New. That's a pretty cute name. That's actually a new clothing resale. So if you had some really good clothing that you just wanted to put on consignment, this would be a good place to probably take it. And yeah, and probably could find some pretty good deals in there as well. So it kind of cuts it both ways with this. It's like from 10 to 5, so their business hours there. And I believe this was the other Calaveras. Man, that's a good thing I'm not an English teacher, because I would never be able to do a lot of this pronouncing. But this is a salon that was actually open, and you can see some girls in there doing some other women's hair. You may be able to get your nails did, is how I like to call it, in there as well. I don't know about all that kind of thing. I didn't really see a standalone nail salon down here, but I'm sure there's probably one here, maybe even more than one. And I've got to excuse me there again. I was kind of tripping out about this dual masthead there going between the two buildings. Being a home inspector, I've never quite seen anything like that where it came to that service meter. But anyway, that's the Merle across the street from the hardware store. So I kind of give you an idea how big it is for any of you out there that have the money to buy it. I mean, that might be something you would put on your radar screen to entertain and maybe schedule a visit to it where you can go inside and check it out. Now, that's the Old Bay Mercantile. Now, that has been there a long time as well. Who knows, probably before the 80s, but I think it's been there since then. It's another real estate office. And I'm going to go ahead and skip across the street. All right, well, I'm going to skip across the street in the third episode of this. I want to thank everybody who subscribed to my channel this year. And I also want to thank you for subscribing as well. And if you want to be notified when the third episode comes out, I would go ahead and, like I say, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because that's going to notify you when that happens. But I also recommend that you get a subscription to Fairhope Living magazine, because that's really focused on what's going on in Fairhope. And if you live out of town, that's even a better way to stay updated with that. So I will see y'all next year, because today is December 31st, and Happy New Year. And there again, guys, I really do appreciate you watching my videos. Take care.